Hey, it's Monday, which means one thing. Donald Trump is ready to tell us what's going on in his life and reflect on what's happening in the news. Donald, welcome back.
Good morning.
So this week is all about what happened last week at CPAC. You had a very well-received speech. Why was it important for you to speak there the last week?
Well, I was asked to speak by CPAC, and they've been terrific people. There was, by the way, great enthusiasm there, amazing enthusiasm, thousands of people. And it was, for me, very interesting, a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people, and I enjoy it. And, I want to see this country be great again, and that's one of the steps to doing it. But they really have done a good job at CPAC, no question about it.
Well, you drew the largest crowd there, as we hear and know. What do you think, though, about this straw poll result? With Rand Paul at the top with just about 25, almost 26%, 25.7%, and then Scott Walker taking second place. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's excellent. I mean, there was a lot of bussing going on, and there was a lot of, and I know Rand and I like him, and I like Scott a lot. They were up in my office, and we've discussed a lot about politics and a lot about the country, and we've had a lot of fun. But a lot of bussing going on, a lot of the results, and I'm not saying with them, but there were a lot of results where buses were pouring in with people that had nothing to do with anything. So a lot of people questioned those results, and who knows? I was
saying
quite
buses of
happy
people
to
came
see
for
that
Rand
my
Paul,
result,
right?
Excuse me?
You're indicating that buses of people came for Rand Paul, correct?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know buses were all over the place. You couldn't even walk without, stepping all off buses. And people were pouring out of buses. They were voting, and then they leave. So I think those, and everybody knows that's at CPAC. And they were, four different people, and then they get out. So I think the poll isn't so important. I think what was important was the enthusiasm in rooms. And there was a lot of enthusiasm in those rooms. And Rand Paul gave a good speech. Scott Walker gave a good speech. There was some good speeches made, and a lot of good enthusiasm. I think that's much more important than the polls, because the numbers of the polls, I'm not sure that they mean very much.
Well, they got enthusiastic about you, for sure. I want to ask you about that in a second, because you gave some indication about your idea of running here. But I want to ask you, do you think Scott Walker will face some pushback on the fact that he's changed his stance on immigration? In 2013, he was sort of more pro a path through some punishment steps for people to stay here if they were initially here illegally. He has since changed his mind. This is what he said this Sunday.
Talking about amnesty and Indians, and I said the reason for that is over time my view. But you said you supported it, and my view has changed. I'm flat out saying it. Candidates can say that. Sometimes they don't. I'm saying. So you've changed from 2013. Absolutely. I look at the problems we've experienced over the last few years. I've talked to governors on the border and others out there. I've talked to people all across America, and the concerns I have is that we need to secure the border. We ultimately need to put in place a system that works, a legal immigration system that works. And part of doing this, put the onus on employers, getting them E-Verify and tools to do that. But I don't think you do it through amnesty.
So does that hurt him, Donald?
I don't think so. I think he's better off doing that than trying to justify his previous statement. And I think he did the right thing. And I watched that interview, and I don't think it'll hurt him at all. I think you're allowed to change. Obviously, you grow and you change, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But I think that's better than trying to explain it away like it never happened. He was for it, and he was against it, and he changed, and he said, life is full of changes. So I actually think somebody's better doing that than trying to avoid the subject.
Well, you had a spectacularly great reaction at CPAC, and now you've told folks there that you're 75%, 80% likely to run, and that you're the only one that can beat Hillary Clinton. Why is that?
Well, I feel that. I feel that, number one, I am very, very strongly considering it. As you know, I've retained some tremendous people from New Hampshire, from Iowa, et cetera, and we have a great team, and I'm going to make a decision fairly soon. And if I run, I think I'll win. I think I'll beat Hillary. I understand Hillary. I know the weaknesses. I know the strengths. And I think I would beat Hillary, and I think it would be more likely that I would win than somebody else. And I know many of the other candidates, and actually many of them are coming up to see me. They're in my office asking for support.
Sure.
And frankly, some are very good people.
What about
and some aren't? Word on the street,
Mr. Trump, is that April is going to be the time when Hillary makes it official. Are you anticipating trying to get in ahead of her?
Well, I don't think she's actually maybe going to do it in April. She's deciding whether or not to do it in April. Maybe she's not going to do it at all. Who knows? But it certainly looks like she is. And you know, they're talking about a coronation over in the Democrats, and I actually think that it could be a little bit tougher than that. I think she's not going to have such a clear road as people are saying, and I think the election's going to be a very, very tough one, depending on who the Republicans pick. Look, they picked Mitt, and something happened. He disappeared the last month of the election. That was an election that should have been won against Obama, and he was very disappointing, and he let us all down. And something happened to him. I don't know what happened to him, but he disappeared, and we don't want that to happen again. We have to pick a very conservative, strong, intelligent person that knows what to do and how to make this country great again, because our country is in serious trouble.
Right. And real quick, Donald, your timing last time was built on The Apprentice. You had to find out if you were going to do it again and was it going to be renewed again. Your other company, the NBC, says, yeah, we're bringing it back again. When is your deadline to tell them if you're coming back?
Well, I've told them already. I'm on a hiatus, and I'm one of the few people in television that we've had tremendous season with your friend Geraldo doing very, very well, as you know. But we've had a tremendous season, and they want to bring it back, and they've announced they want to bring it back. But I've told them I've got something else to do, and you'll have to wait. We'll see what happens, but you have to wait because I'm not doing anything with it with respect right now. I'm looking at something very much more important. And I think you understand what that is.
Donald Trump, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Donald.